Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar on the CPA pathway. We'll be talking about what's new in the CPA and as well as the career opportunities that the CPA license would provide you. So that's the purpose of this webinar. And it's been organized by ISME. So I'm going to talk about ISME. I look after the external relations, training, and consultancy for ISME. The ISME has been established in 2006. It offers a world-class education through student-focused culture of excellence, international outlook, entrepreneurial thinking, and industry alignment. ISME is also part of the global NVT group, an ISO accreditation body which has certified over 30 years across 36 countries. ISME offers PGDM, AICT, and BBA courses and BCA courses from the Bangalore University, as well as we give an opportunity for PhD in management for University of Mysore and the fellow program in management from AICT. The focus here is more the CPA program. So we do have PGDM and PGPM, postgraduate diploma in management and postgraduate program in management for international accounting associated with the CPA program for their CPA learning. And ISME has a number of collaborative partnerships for these kind of pathway programs, joint certification programs, collaborative research, online faculty exchange with multiple international institutions and universities across USA, Canada, France, Germany, Singapore, and Australia. Some of the highlights of our program would be good to cover that as well, is that we have tied up with the world-renowned Becker's Review resources for the course content, and they are supposed to have one of the best course contents for the CPA program with a very high pass percentage for those who take that online class. And we deliver our courses with interactive pedagogy, which is delivered by our faculty with industry experience. We have people, our founders themselves are from many prestigious institutions like Carnegie Mellon and IITs, IIMs, and all that. So we have a very renowned faculty team with industry as well as a strong academic background. The others are from Purdue and Wharton as well. So we have 1,700 plus alumni working in MNCs across India, Canada, USA, UK, Australia, and so on. Our alumni networks is with a lot of the Big Four and other such large organizations. So there's a lot of focus on financial accounting and financial courses. We have people from our institute working in places like ENY, KPMG, Grant Thornton, JP Morgan, PwC, Wells Fargo, Northern Trust, State Street, just to name a few. So that is the background on ISME. And without taking too much time from today's webinar, for which you have taken out time, and thank you again for taking out time on a Saturday afternoon to come to this webinar, which I think would be quite insightful, and you get a lot of inputs into what kind of a career option this CPA provides and how it will help give you a boost in your careers as an accounting and finance professional. And so we have put together a very eminent set of panelists, and I'll quickly take you through their background. So we have Mr. Prasad Dhulipala. Prasad is currently serving as Director of Grant Thornton, KCC in Bangalore, India. Prasad leads the central region of the US practice. As a part of this, he manages the dynamics of client service, quality, and business relations. From December 2014 till date, he is associated with Indus. Prior to that, Prasad worked with the Big Four firms in the US. Prasad is himself a licensed CPA in Arizona. The CPA license comes with a particular license within a US state, and also a member of the AICPA. So welcome, Mr. Prasad. And we have Mr. Sumit Tawari. Sumit Tawari currently is serving as CFO Tax Presso Technique, India. He's widely experienced in all areas of accounts, finance, taxation, as well as auditing. Priorly qualified as a CA, US CMA, and US CPA. He has recently added the Australian CPA to his repertoire. So again, welcome, Mr. Tiwari, and we look forward to your inputs and guidance. And we have Mr. Prasad Bhalirao as a partner of CFO Logic. Prasad has wide experience leading CFO advisory and managed accounting services, aiding in decision-making of all things finance since 2013. He has been instrumental in finance strategy and execution for his clients, ranging from accounting, taxation, compliances, all the way to mergers and acquisition and JV. He has also advised several businesses startup in India and abroad. Prasad currently serves as CFO Quidditch Innovation Labs. Welcome, Mr. Prasad. And we will soon have Mr. Fadi joining us. There was some technical problem with his connection, which we are just rectifying. So, Mr. Fadi is the founder and chairman of Morgan International. He has over 25 years experience in professional education industry. Gani manages Morgan International's global operations in the Middle East, and he's going to be joining us from Beirut. He has worked in Canada, Middle East, Europe, and India. He supervises the finance, business development, commercial operations, and marketing facets, and leads the company's overall strategy. Gani also streamlines and monitors internal reports, manages process improvement and solution development across all business. He also coordinates global marketing efforts in line with Morgan's partners across the region, as well as international course provider. Morgan International, of course, is closely associated with Becker's as well, and they are the ones kind of supporting this material and the preparation for the US CPA. So I will not take any more of your time and turn you over to our esteemed panelists to take us to this discussion on how the US CPA is important and valid for your career and why it makes a good career choice. And of course, I believe there are some new changes which have come in the CPA pathway, which has changed the programs or the exam structure significantly. And that is also something they are going to be talking about. So over to you. Maybe Mr. Prasad, you can start here since you're here on the focused area here in the yes, webinar. So maybe you can share some thoughts and we can pass around while we wait for Mr. Fadi also to join us.
Yes, sir. So the first point of discussion, I request you to start with that what is a USCP and what they do? This is for the new joiners who have been planning to go ahead for the USCPA courses, and they want to know the insight of what is a USCPA and how it is different with the CA program in India, and what is the career and what is the future of USCPA if they pursue ahead in there.
So, thank you. So I think that question is to me, right? We have two Prasad, so I assume this is to me.
Yes, sir. It is to
please
you,
go
Mr.
ahead.
Prasad
Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Firstly, thank you, ISME, for giving me this opportunity. It's wonderful to talk to students and add some value to your life always. I know they introduced real quick about me. I'm one of the directors at Grant Thornton. It is one of the public accounting firms from US. I myself am a CPA. I got my license in 2007 or 8. So last 15 plus years, I'm in the public accounting domain, dealing with financial statement audits of US corporations. So that's my background. Now, CPA is a wonderful opportunity. I'm not saying just because I am one. I'm saying based on my own experiences. I want you all to get the same benefits of whatever I got. It is equivalent to CA in India. Every country has its own regulation and the way you give your certifications and how you conduct exams. Whatever ICAI is doing in India, awarding you the CA certification or licenses whatsoever, AICPA back in the US will be giving you the CPA certifications. So how it works? CPA means Certified Public Accountant. Now, why do you call that? Because you're working on public information all the time, right? For example, I am an auditor, a financial statement auditor. What is an audit? So you go through the financial statements of a given company, make sure they are in conformity with GAAP. There are no abnormalities. There's no fraud. There is no. You do your routine risk assessment, design your procedures, gather evidence, and then using all this, add your skepticism and professional judgment, and you will give an opinion saying that the financial statements are free from material misstatements. Now, these are called audited financial statements, and these are required by the regulators that every company has to file their financial statements with these regulators within 45 days or 60 days, depending on the volume and the revenue of those companies. If you pick Apple or Amazon or Microsoft, any of these top big short companies, they have to do the filing within 45 days. Now, here is when my role comes as an auditor. Do the right things and make sure everything is appropriate. Do my work and give the right opinion on the financial statements. So that information is going to be used by the whole world in making their financial decisions. Now, as a small investor, I'll be sitting in Bangalore, Kormangala, and I have 1 lakh rupees. I'll be making a decision on where to invest. Now, I will use data, right? I will use some data, and somebody will do a data analysis and give me thumbs up for some stocks and give thumbs down to some stocks. Accordingly, I'll make my own decisions. Same way, a bank will be willing to lend money, not to lend money. They need data, they do their analysis, they do their protocols, and do their job. Now, for all this, the base is audited financial statements, right? The whole world is depending on these audited financial statements. Use the data in whatever way, tweak it, and use it in whatever format you want. But the base is this. Since everybody in the world is going to utilize this information, and I am that accountant who is giving an opinion on these financials, I am called a certified public accountant because public is going to rely on whatever I say. Now, I'm saying like an individual, but it's firm, it's companies. You have Deloitte, EY, Grant Thornton, so many audit firms who will be doing this. So all these people are nothing but bunch of accountants. These accountants are so called as certified public accountants, right? So that is the basic understanding. Now, how will I become a CPA? And this is a wonderful thing that occurred in my life. Like you all, I had my BCom degree in 2001. I mean, sorry, late 90s, and then I went to US. I wanted to pursue my MBA. I have no idea if there's a qualification called CPA. That's when one of my friends came into me like a messenger of God or whatsoever and suggested this is a qualification you can do, which is cost effective. You can sit from home, you can do a self study and clear everything in short time. So I did my master's, and at the time I got this information. I was able to clear all 4 exams of CPA within 8 months, guys.
Wow.
So January I took my first exam, August I cleared my fourth exam. So 8 months I was able to clear all 4 exams while working full time. Okay, and I'm married and I had infant kid at home, taking care of all these responsibilities. I was able to clear my exams, and right after that I got wonderful opportunities and no looking back from them. So today I am sitting in Bangalore, not today, I mean from last 10 years almost, sitting in Bangalore and working for a US corporation. And that is possible just because I am a licensed CPA. So it opens up wonderful opportunities across the globe if you are a CPA, and you will be placed in decent positions, decision-making abilities, and on. Everything will follow. A very rewarding career, respectful career, and portability of your skill set is very much possible. I can do the same sitting in Australia. I can do the same in Germany, from Dubai, from Bangalore, from US, anywhere. Why? Obviously, a question will come, right? Why? Why only US CPA? Why not Indian chartered accountant go work in Germany? The only reason is, guys, because US corporations are there everywhere. Microsoft is there in India, Microsoft is there in Germany, Microsoft is there in Australia. So they will be doing their own local filings, statutory filings, and then they have to report back to the US in US language, in US GAAP language. So that's
Sure.
where you have an edge over others, wherein you are placed wherever you go. Now, I am the living example right before you. I came in as a senior associate or whatsoever, but I was able to grow up all the way up to director within 10 years. I was able to grow. The biggest edge is my qualification. So, with all respects to CA, ACC, and everything, I'm not saying this is big, that is less. I'm not at all getting there because I am a CPA. I'm saying you guys have that BCom, MCom, MBA background. You will have a wonderful career if you can invest 1 year sincerely into this program, clear those 4 exams, and the world is going to open up all the doors for your beautiful career. I'll quickly give you through what is this 4 exams. One is accounting, the other one is auditing, then you have regulation, which is nothing but American taxation, and then comes BEC, which is business economics and business economic concepts. Now that is the new name is BAR. You can pick technology side or accounting side. You have an option, so that is
Okay.
one section, but the rest three are the same. All you need is to score 75 in each exam. Every exam has 4 hours. You will go to a prometric center, sit and take that exam. 4 hours, score 75, you're done. Likewise, clear all 4 exams, you're done. Apply for license, get your license, and you're in business. It's
Thank you,
as
Mr. Asad.
simple as it.
Thank you, Mr. That's great. That give us a very good
Yes.
overview of the CPA and the career opportunities. I'd like Mr. Fadi to also talk about the career opportunities and the way the preparation helps from Morgan and through these Beckers as well, and how that kind of becomes a strong supporting factor in getting this. Because people are 75%, though Mr. Prasad is an expert and he did it in 8 months, and he made the 75% sound very easy. I think it's obviously going to be a bit of a challenge for all the students to get to that 75. So if you could just throw some light on that, Mr. Fadi, that would be great before I move to the other panelists.
Sure. So passing the exams, I just want to talk about the passing and the preparation is that everybody, you hear rumors in the market, the exam is difficult, is this and that, or my undergraduate degree, my GPA was not high. Really, in order to pass the exam, you have to be disciplined. So anyone can pass the exam if you're focused, motivated, and you follow the steps, what you need to do to pass the exam. It's a rigorous exam. It's not easy, but anyone can pass it, irrespective whether you have experience or not. I've been dealing with that for 25 years. We have fresh graduates acing the exam, and we have people with 15 years. It's how you approach the exam and the tricks and the tips you learn throughout the course. Now, when it comes to exam preparation, it's all about solving previous exam questions and following the steps and the tools provided for you to follow the process. It's not about memorization. Some stuff you have to memorize it, but it is about practice, because many of those exams, they repeat themselves. So if you learn the tips and the tricks, how to approach a multiple choice question or how to approach a task-based simulation, then you get used to it. Then you know how to address, when you are actually sitting for the exam, you know how to approach it. Now, few things we've been utilizing with ISME, the Becker platform. We're gonna give you all the tools to prepare for the exam. It is the passing rate, or we call it the Becker bump, is 94%. I'll be lying to you if I tell you that your passing rate is 94%. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. But what we say is that if you follow the steps that and you do what you're supposed to do, and the system has an AI can monitor of that, your chances of passing the part you're taking is 94%. But 94% of those who reach the Becker bump will pass the exam. What does it mean? It means attending all the lectures. It means solving the previous exam questions correctly with the 90% correct answers. It means practicing every question 3 times, and it means not missing any class. The system will monitor all of that and will tell you whether you're ready to sit for the exam or not, and what are your chances. Now, we're gonna give you all the tools. Again, it's not about an instructor and a textbook, because you have to remember, this is a whole ecosystem. So an instructor will not make you pass or fail. It's the effort is back on the student. The instructor role is to facilitate the information, to explain it, and the hard work comes on the student. And we'll give you all the tools and the guidance to do that. So we'll give you all the previous exam questions to solve them, the task-based simulations. We'll give you flashcards. We have skill-built videos, where the videos will teach you how to address a multiple choice question or to address specific topic. You have a monitoring system as well. How you're doing the textbooks, you have them as well. They're highlighted with the instructor notes. So you have all the tools. You just have to follow the system and stay up to date, because the material is integrated. So if you fall behind in one part, probably you will not be able to understand some of the topics in the other part. Example, regulation, and if we talk about audit and financial accounting, there are similarities when it comes to them. You have to understand your financial accounting to be able to produce an audit report. So the trick is to be, in a nutshell, is to be consistent and follow what you're supposed to do and not fall behind. This is the whole trick. And India students have very high passing rates. A couple of years ago, there's something called the What Cells Award. So the highest people who score on the exam, it's usually 96% and above, they receive an award on each part. They receive an award. For the last 15 years, 90% of those who are receiving awards are Becker alumni. And we have 2 cases from India. The Indian studied in India, graduate from Indian universities, scoring, I'm talking worldwide, not only in India, scoring, being among the top Watts Award sellers, studied in India, followed the Becker system, and they aced the exam.
That's great. Thank you. Mr. Prasad Balarao, would you like to talk about a little more about the career opportunities and also the kind of salaries that one can expect? But that would be a question I'm sure the the participants would have, that if they are continuing in India for a career after CPA, let's say they've done a commerce degree and now they do the CPA, what kind of salary and career path can they have?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee. I think USCPA is a very interesting curriculum, very interesting course, and it's much simpler. I think Mr. Prasad Dulipala as well as Mr. Fadi explained. See the key difference between USCPA and most of other professional education courses is the shorter duration of the course, right? See, if you want to do a chartered accountancy program, you are committed for at least 5.5, 6 years if you're lucky. If you're not,
True.
then nobody knows how much time it will take. CP Australia takes again anywhere between 3 to 6 years, primarily because there are exam papers and then there are 3 years of practical examination, practical working experience. Same goes with ACC and I believe almost all other, recognized accounting professional certifications. The beauty for the CPA, US CPA, is that essentially it doesn't it's a fairly simple course, 4 papers, cut. You do that as per the process, as Mr. Fadi said, and you're through, right? And again, I think most important thing, what you get at the end of the course is a license, right? Excuse me. The license, see, for example, you're a fresher, you recently qualified and you got the license. And as against that, let's say Mr. Prasad Dulipala, who qualified, let's say 15 or 25 years back, essentially license enables you to do the exact same thing. Now, does it mean that you'll get to audit, let's say, apples of the world? Probably, most likely not. But the power is the same, right? The power is the same. So what it translates to, the power translates to leverage, and leverage translates to money at the end of the day. So if you look at, and there are 3, I think, types of job opportunities if you're a CPA. One is in US, which is, I think, fairly difficult because of the whole, immigration issues. But if you are lucky to be in the US or North America already, I think you are looking at anywhere above $80,000-$90,000 a year, and that's I think a given. There are some states who are, which are able to offer you much more as well. But let's say somewhere around $80,000 is a decent benchmark. Second is let's say in India for a US accounting firm, like, again, I think all these large top 25 firms for sure that I'm aware of, they have their offshore captive work centers in India, and they are on a constant lookout for qualified professionals, right? So essentially the idea is that it's getting harder to recruit CPAs in the US. And there was, I think, a Wall Street Journal report which said that US is short of CPAs by some 300,000 number. I mean, it's a huge number, right?
That's a huge
I mean,
number.
That's the and see again in India we may not appreciate 300,000 is a huge number because we are a we are a blessed country with a lot of demographic dividend. But for some country like US, Canada, I think 300,000 is a huge number because on an annual basis they have roughly what maybe 10,000, 15,000 CPAs, right? So you're looking at minimum 10 to 15 years of backlog in terms of backfilling activity to be done. So all these large firms, they have already set up their back offices in India, and they're trying to recruit big scale, extremely big scale. So I think that's the second level of opportunity. Again, these jobs pay you handsomely well. I mean, I wish I had that option, let's say 15 years back. These employees pay you really well. And the third option is again Middle Eastern or even European countries. Again, I think Mr. Fadi was mentioning that. I forgot who did mention that. But I think no, maybe Mr. Dulipala was mentioning that when you are working, let's say in Germany, but for an American company, they are going to pay you again handsomely well. I frankly, Mr. Chatterjee, I don't see pay scales as a issue. I think if you are able to really have that really discipline for only 8 to 10 months a year at the max, I think you're looking at a lifetime of gold mine. That's how I look at it.
Thank you.
One very interesting question came in between somebody has asked me anonymously. So I would like to put forth it to Professor Sumit Tawari. So there were in upcoming years we have seen a very decent amount of increase in women participants for US CPA enrollments and all. So before, if we'll see the statistics, there were many male number of accountants in India. But now there are many girls, many women are interested in the finance domain and they want to become CPA. And also how fruitful it is, and how what are the opportunity kind of opportunities are there for women in US CPA professions?
Okay, yeah. So, see, myself Sumit, and I'm basically from industry background. Okay, so my entire experience is capital equipment manufacturing industry. Okay, so see what happened in a finance department. Finance department, if you consider, this is just like a back office. So it is like means from entrepreneur, like owner point of view or the management point of view, it is good that they are going to hire the more women than the main, because like if it is a sales profile or the manufacturing operation profile, then we need to have a male only. Okay, but in finance or the support services like HR or IT, we are okay with the woman candidate. So this is the first thing, means where like woman candidate are more acceptable. Means the finance department is particularly where the woman candidate are more acceptable than the sales and the operation. Okay. Beside that, if you see from career point of view, so I mean, if you want to do the job, then you can join the global accounting firm or any BPO or KPO where lots of account outsourcing activities are going on. So this is basically from job point of view. Beside the job, basically, if you see, like you can set up your own practice, because in CPA, you are getting a very good knowledge about the account, finance, then costing, financial management. Okay, some kind of economics. Okay, so because of that reason, you can set up your own practice. You can start your own consultancy services, which maybe you can manage along with managing the household activities. The third option, of course, like you can engage in a training institute. Okay, so because this is also an opportunity for months, and where you can impart the knowledge to upcoming finance stream. So these are the various opportunities available for the basically for the woman candidate. Okay. And the second aspect which I want to communicate from career point of view, particularly in which I observed in a manufacturing unit or the software industries, like because of CPA, you may contest for the CFO role as well. Means if you do the other courses like MBA or some certification courses, okay. So if you compare this, okay, with a CPA, then you will get you are able to get absorb in a higher position. So that is also the benefit for the particularly the women. They can means they can increase their profile because of CPA. Okay, so these are basically the benefit which the woman candidate can gain for from the job as well as from their private practice or the teaching.
So certainly, Mr. Subit, you don't see any glass ceiling for the women candidates doing CPA to get to a CFO role or anything. You have not observed any glass ceiling.
So, right now, I'm not. But see, what happened means whenever we are hiring the people, particularly in my company, I'm in process to hire the finance controller. So in my job description or the desired candidate profile, I clearly mentioned that I'm okay with the Indian CA or US CA. And if you see the next position for the finance controller is basically the CFO. So anyhow, I mean, they are the most welcome for the CFO profile, I can say at this moment.
Thank you, Mr. Sumit. I would like to go back to Mr. Fadli and ask this question about the other requirements for the USCPA. It's not just the exam. The exam we talked about and how this program and the material helps, but what is the credits required and the other requirements to really become a USCPA?
Okay, so the exam is a uniform exam across the US. Is the same exam. If you sit for the exam register in the state of Delaware, or you sit in New York or Boston, Chicago, it's the same exam. There's no one exam easier than the other. It's just your license from which state you will receive it. And every state board have a different educational requirements to sit for the exam. Some states, they require to have a bachelor degree with a major in business. Some states, they require that you have to have a bachelor degree and specific courses in tax or business law from the US. Some state boards do not allow you to sit for the exam if you're not working in that state or resident. The general rule for international candidates is you have to be a major in accounting or finance, business major. Again, we need to look at the number of credits, but I'm talking the average is between 12 and 15. Some states now, they require more than a bachelor degree to sit for the exam. They require 150 credit hours. What we mean by 150 credit hours is not a master's degree. They just want a bachelor degree with additional year, a graduate level of studies to reach out 150 credits. Whether you have the master's or not, it doesn't matter. They look at the number of credits. So these are the requirements to varying from state to state. And there's a distinction between requirements to sit for the exam and requirements for the license. So the general rule to sit for the exam is specific number of accounting credits based on the state boards, of course, and meeting the education requirements of that state board. And we know specific state boards that are welcoming for international candidates. Once you pass the exam, it doesn't end over there. Once you pass the exam, again, it varies from state to state. You have to show a proof of experience. The experience can be before or obtained before sitting for the exam or after sitting for the exam. And it varies usually between 2 to 3 years of experience, whether it is audit experience or not audit experience. And it varies from state to a state as well. Some states, they might require you as well to sit for a 2 hours ethics exam, which is it's not something additionally, which is it's you don't need to prepare for it. It's at home, self-study, you do it. the major accomplishment is passing the exam. All the others, you don't need to worry about. Even the license and everything, you need to get your step in the foot and pass the exam. Once you've done that, the rest is not a problem. And even if you sit in one state, your license coming out, and you decide you want to move to another state, there's a process how you go about it. Now, the question mark is why some states have higher requirements than others. Does it mean that state they get paid more, or is it a better? No, it's simply supply and demand. There's a lot of supply of accountants in New York. They put the bar higher because they want to maintain certain
A higher
number.
standard.
Yes, some states they have they are in need of accountants. They change the requirements, and the requirements change. They're not stagnant. So it's a supply and demand just to maintain the profession, not to oversupply, and to maintain the salaries and everything. Now, one of the things a colleague of mine was saying about there's a shortfall in accountants in the US. It's a big problem. I sit on many associations in the US. The big problem now in the US is twofolded. One is there's not enough supply of accountants. And the second problem is the skills requirement. Even the accountants, the typical accountant that we know of, that the employers are requesting different types of skills in addition to the accounting skills. And this is why the exam have changed. 2024, it's called the exam evolution. They changed the exam. So now every part tests you in technology. You have to know about data analytics. So the good thing about the CPA exam as well is evolving with the requirements of what the employers are looking for at a faster pace than other qualifications, the ACCA or the CA or the Indian Chartered Accountants. They are evolving, but the CPA is more dynamic. So these are the general requirements. To a bachelor degree from India, it is recognized. The fastest growing market from our data that we see for international candidates sitting for the CPA exam is India. It is the fastest growing market. We're not talking in hundreds, we're talking in thousands. 2,000 to 3,000 people applying for the exams. And most of people in the CPA business training, they're eyeing India from the US because it's fast growing. In terms of working in the US, one thing I want to bring to your attention now is that if you are a CPA in India, they're easing the requirements for you to move to, because of the shortfall. A lot of the states now have eased the requirements if you're licensed CPA to go and work. If you get a job offer, which is easy, not difficult to get now because of the shortfall, the government is making it easy to transfer CPAs from India to the US. It's not as difficult as it used to be because the employers have opened up. I know that there's a shortfall in that as well in the US. And we see a lot of movement now from India to the US. I'm not saying this is a good thing, because personally, I believe India have a better opportunities for a CPA than in the US. It is a fast growing market. And I've seen it. I worked with the BPOs and everything. The demand, and even the big four, if I take, or the large accounting firms, they have thousands of Indian staff residing in India, filing tax returns for US market.
Thank you so much for
Great.
that insight, sir. So my related question along with is from Mr. Prasad Dhulipala. Sir, since we spoke about the 150 credit requirement to become a license holder in US CPA, how to achieve that? Those who are, let's say, from the accounts background, let's say BCom for an example, from any NAC accredited university or college, if they have the 90 credits along with them. So how to retrieve the another 60 for their licensing, or another 40 for 30 for their examination eligibility?
I think you partially answered my question. You get 90 to 100 credits from your bachelor's degree if you're in
Right,
India.
sir. Yes,
The
sir.
remaining 50 to 60, how do I get it? You have the answer at ISME, guys. You have a wonderful program, a
Right,
PGDBA
sir.
program, which I was part of last year until last year. That is nothing but a curriculum of CPA built in. You will be
Right,
doing a
sir.
PGDBA course, and that course has CPA material that has Becker content, everything built in it.
Right, sir.
If you do that, it's like a double dip. You get this
Right.
PGDPA, and when you evaluate it, you are going to get 60 credits. Also, you're ready to sit for your CPA exams. So if I'm a BCom student or an MCom student or a graduate of BCom or MCom, I would not hesitate to enroll for this course, which is going to help me both ways in getting the extra credits I need and also
Mm.
be ready to take those 4 sections of CPA exam. And the content of that course is nothing but 4 sections of CPA using Becker material.
Right, sir.
So there is no extra overlap. You're saying that the doing the course would themselves by itself help in preparation for
Yes,
the CPA, and
that is not.
there's a high amount of overlap between our material and the US
Yeah,
CPA
no,
requirement.
that is purely CPA. It's hardcore CPA. 4 sections of curriculum is
Curriculum.
spread across in the diploma. You do
Yes.
this, you get your 60 credits, and also the 1 year I spent is nothing but me preparing for my CPA exams. As long as one catch, okay. As long as I am serious about it, I am staying focused on it. No distractions, no deviations. I promise you guys will be done with your CPA exam in 12 months if you enroll in this PGDBA.
Sir, to anyone from the panelist, there are certain queries which have come across me when I was counseling many of the students who are the CPA aspirants. They are scared of the examination. So how difficult it is to crack either what should be the basic strategy of preparing the CPA, though while going through, let it be Becker's module, let it be they're studying and they're getting coaching from somewhere else. But self preparation is a must.
You
So how to prepare by themselves? How much time do they require to dedicate? Let it be on a daily or let it be a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And how difficult is exam to crack? This dilemma we need to clear from our attendees or aspirants' mind.
maybe I
Okay,
can.
put a comment, and I'm sure everybody
Please,
has
sure, sir.
comment. The exam is not easy, but it's not rocket science. Again, I've said it, and I would say it again. Don't hear to the rumors what the market says. It's a very simple process. And we just said it now. You're committed. You're committed. Your priority is passing the exam, and you solve previous exam questions and follow the process.
Right.
You can pass the exam. Thousands of people the people who pass the exam are not more clever than those who do not pass. It is they're more serious and they're more committed. So if you're approaching the
Absolutely.
exam, you try your luck, you're not gonna pass. You're gonna fail. If you approach the exam, I want to make it, and I want to make it within 1 year, and 1 year you can make it. You have to dedicate most of your free time of solving previous exam questions and going over the material. And I teach the CPA exam. I tell the students there's inverse relationship between happiness and passing the exam. The more fun activities you're doing while you're preparing, the less the chances. And it's a short period. We're not talking a long period. That's one aspect. The other aspect is don't go off tangent, because our experience with students, we're going to give them what they need to pass the exam. The objective is for them to pass the exam.
Right.
Sometimes students, they go off tangents. For example, when we talk about accrual versus non-accrual, what is accrual when you're accounting for doubtful accounts? Some students, they tend to go off tangent and say, why we are doing that. So what I tell the students is stick to the content. The why, sometimes the exams is not going to ask you the why. So whatever you're being taught by your instructor, don't go off tangent and ask what is the logic and the why. It's nice to have it, but if you know it, it doesn't mean, especially when it comes to the taxes, why this is deductible or not deductible. you have to know the rules and the regulation. They're not going to ask you on the why. But the most important part is to stick to the schedule and really follow through and don't fall behind. For every hour of classroom, they need to put 3 hours on their own,
Yeah, that's
minimum of 3 hours. Multiple choice questions should be solved 3 times. They should be scoring 90%. So all their time should be dedicated while they're preparing for the CPA exam. On my days, I've taken the CPA exam in 1994. It was a 5-part exam. And I remember the course provider used to send a letter to our family saying that please let your beloved one focus on studying and you're gonna benefit once he or she passes the exam. So it's a matter of dedication, that's it. Your GPA, whether it's 4 or it doesn't matter. Your experience, 10 years, if you don't study, you're not gonna pass. You're fresh graduate and you're gonna study, you're gonna pass. So your background, your experience, how good you've done in the university, it's not, it helps, but there's no direct correlation. The only direct correlation is studying and solving every questions that is provided, not choosing and picking this topic I don't like, I will skip it. Majority of the candidates who pass the exam, they pass between 75 and 79. And the exam is good. When you score 75, it doesn't mean that you actually scored 75, depending on the level of difficulty of the exam. Some people might score with a 75 and they really scored 60, and some people might score 78 and they pass with 75, because the computer-based exam, the system is very complex where it assesses the difficulty of the exam. So again, the reason I'm saying majority pass between 75 and 79, so missing one topic can make a difference between passing with a 75 or failing with a 68 or 69. So they have to cover the whole content. That would be my advice.
Sure, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Fadi. So you
Thank
basically are saying a sincere effort and regular work is what is really
Yes,
required,
yes.
solving each and every problem. And I think the number wise, you gave that 3 hours for each hour of class. So that kind of, if students are looking for the amount of effort they've got to put in, I think
And
that is a good measure
Yeah.
of
yes,
what they need to do sincerely.
and also for our Indian student, I would like to have some Indian Guru mantra where they can prepare and they can focus from their mindsets, sir. So, any insight on that, sir?
So I think, I don't know, it's a general question, but let me add my thoughts to this. If you stay focused 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day, and you spend 8 hours on a Saturday and 8 hours on a Sunday, if you do that consistently for 3 months, you should be able to crack that exam 100% sure. Like Mr. Fari said, you attempt every multiple choice question 3 times and solve all the simulations. Understand the logic. Don't memorize. Do not memorize. That's how I think some of us are used to. That doesn't work. Understand it. See the logical application of the concept that you learn, and you will pick it up automatically. I vouch for it. You will pick it up automatically if you stick to the Becker. Don't skip any sentence. It's already condensed, nicely presented to you. Every single word is important. If you know every single thing, and let's say, for example, I did this math also for you guys long ago. There are around 2,000 multiple choice questions in 10 chapters of far section in Becker, and 1 dozen simulations. If you crack them, if you go through them 3 times, I am sure the concept will go stick into your head. And tomorrow, when you see a question in the same format, numbers are different, names are different, everything is different, but unknowingly, you know the right answer there. That's how it is.
Yeah.
It I vouch because I used Becker. I got benefited some 15 years ago. It's the same thing. So you have wonderful material. Everything is good. The only thing you need from your end is put those 2 to 3 quality hours every single day with no distractions, no deviations. Stay focused and do with passion. I vouch for you guys. You will clear within 1 year, within 12 calendar months at
That's
the
very
max. One more thing, a dozen years ago, with full-time job and 100 responsibilities in my life, settling down after 9/11 in the US, I was able to clear Why will you not when you are doing this 100% and this is the only mission statement you have in your life? You will clear this as long as you stay focused and go with passion and with full open mind of learning mindset.
I completely agree with you, Mr. Prasad. So, a few minutes back, Mr. Prasad Balarao, he was saying, wish these things were available 15 years back for us. I definitely, I would also have, you have inspired me to go through CPA, though I do not belong to the finance background, but still, it's inspiring for me to, and where I can, counsel more students on such notes. Uh, and now my next question to Mr. Sumit Tiwari would be, sir, what all kind of job role responsibilities are available in India for the entry level, those who are freshers and becomes a CPA certified? So what kind of job and what kind of roles or responsibilities are available? What kind of salary they can expect in India currently, sir?
See, like they can easily compete. As I said, CPA is more or less equivalent to Indian CA. Okay, if you consider, consider the contents of the course. Okay, so then you can easily evaluate, except the direct taxes and indirect taxes, which is different because we are going to learn that also, but it is for US.
Right.
Okay, so audit, finance, financial management, costing. Strategic management, some part of economics, account, all are covered in the CPA. Okay, so they can easily contest from assistant manager level as a fresher because
Okay.
immediately they cannot elevate to because they need to have some work experience as well. But they
Naturally.
can start their career from the assistant manager level in India. And if about the package, we generally offer somewhere around more than 10 and a half lakh as on today. Because as I said, right now I just recruited the finance controller for in my company and we offer them around 22 lakh. But assistant manager, definitely we can offer somewhere 10 to 12 lakh as a start package. So that they can get it. Beside that, lots of work nowadays, lots of work coming to India from a US as well. So that could be an again, I feel the good opportunity for Indian CPAs. Okay, because now we can work for a, US client as well
Right.
from sitting in India. So that is also the one of the good opportunity that fresher can get at this moment because most of the old CAs basically now they are settled with the Indian practice as okay, so that area is open for freshers basically.
So, Sumit, the one related question to that is that if they, you're talking about a US firm and someone has a India CA versus a US CPA, perhaps the US CPA would be preferred, is my assumption right? Because they're after all going to be working for a US accounting activity, let's say a US GCC or a US BPO
Yeah,
in that
correct.
scenario.
So if there is a US client, then definitely they are getting the preference. But I can convince even in normal industries, basically right now the Indian fresh qualified CA and the US CPA, they are considered at par level. Means it is not the case. This is for industry.
Thanks. I think you already alluded to some of these sections and how it is kind of matching with the Indian CA. Could you explain that a little further? What are the various sections of the exam, especially the new
The new
kind of
changes which
setup,
has
which
come
is
across.
the changes which
Yes,
have
sir.
come up now?
Yeah, the recent
In,
changes which has come across into this. So could you throw a little light on that, sir?
so that is in US CPA.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So see what happened earlier. We used to have like BEC subject, which is replaced by the some specialized subject. This is okay. So these subject are basically it is basically the bar business analysis and reporting, information system and control, and the tax compliances and planning. Okay, so the audit FAR and regulation. This is the more or less the same like in earlier curriculum. and now they incorporate the specialized subject. Okay, so this is this means you need to like of one specialized subject where you need to build a career. So if you consider the business analysis and reporting, so it is basically just like an advanced financial accounting and reporting. Okay. So here, for instance, if someone wants to specialize in accounting only, so he can opt for a business analysis and reporting. And if someone wants to specialize like US compliances, then he need to add US tax compliances. Then he can opt for a tax compliances and planning like this. Okay, but the content of the content is basically the more of the same in a previous examination and the current examination. The only thing is that instead of giving all subject together in a BEC, they means they bifurcated it as per their specialization.
Okay, thank you. It's open to the panel. One question was, is there a time limit by which you have to clear the CPA exam? I mean, while we say it can be done in 8 months, 1 year, but is there a maximum limit or maximum number of attempts that a student can make?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a time limit in the sense, let's say if I clear my first exam today, within 18 months, I should be clearing the remaining 3 sections. That's the time limit.
18 months is that?
18 months from today. So if I don't clear within 18 months, the remaining 3, I lose the credit for the exam that I cleared today.
Okay. So that means from the date you finish the first one,
correct.
Within 18 months, you have to clear the other 3.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
See, ideally, we should not even be thinking in those directions. We should not even get there, because if you give 3 months to each section, 12 months, 12 calendar months, I should be able to clear all.
No, just to understand the whole process.
But you can
would
repeat the
recommend
exam
that
as many times.
Yeah. Okay. That's
as many times as you want. But like my colleague have mentioned, is that you lose the part that you've passed. And now just recently they announced they extended it to 13 months. With the exam evaluation, they extended it from 18 months to 30 months.
30.
Okay.
Where
So
you don't use the credit.
So a little more window they have to clear it in case of the
Yes.
students who are struggling with it for whatever reason.
But 30 months is too long.
Yeah, it shouldn't take that long from what I understand from all of you. Yeah.
So, sir, the same thing leads to one more question here, that what are the processes of giving the examination, the transcript, the registration through NASBA? So many of them are not familiar with, they know the, okay, what all modules they have to study, from where to study or not, what to use. But the concern is right after, once they have completed, what all are the processes to give the examination, to attempt the examinations?
It's the process is as follows. You need, first of all, if your degree is non-US, you have to send your degree for evaluation. The evaluation is not to say you're a good student or a bad student. The evaluation just to say how many accounting courses you have, how many non-accounting courses, and those courses are similar to an accredited university in the US. It's just to see your profile, that your degree is equivalent to a US degree. And through that process, you have to mention to which state board you want to apply for the exam, because every state board have different requirements. Well, once we've done the evaluation and we're cleared out that we are eligible for the exam, you decide on the state board and you register for the exam on that state board, and you have to decide on the date. Once you register, you apply for the exam, you receive something called notice to schedule. Notice to schedules, once you receive it, it means now you have to lock the date. You need to decide on which date you need to sit for the exam. And then you just appear for the exam, and it's a computer-based examination. It's a very simple process. Evaluation, you apply, you receive a notice to schedule, you fix the date when you want to sit for the exam, and you go and sit for the exam. And of course, when you walk into actually the exam, you have to have 2 IDs. You're not allowed to bring in a mobile or any, you go through a security check, and then you launch the exam. It's a computer-based, you fill in a survey and you sit for the exam. It's a simple process.
So comparatively for the last year, are there any changes in the exam process or evaluation process or anything happened for the current thing, batches or anything, sir?
No, there are no changes on the way they correct the exam. It's still the same methodology. It's just the exam now, when we talk about the bar or the financial accounting or the auditing, more and more focus now on the skills requirements that is needed. So all parts of the exam will test on technology.
Okay.
It's not harder. It's not, the exam is still the same thing. The passing rates is still the same thing. But now the exam focus more on technology, on IT, on corporate governance, IT governance. So, and that's the new parts actually of the exam. So the shift in weight, what's important have shifted, but the difficulty level is the same.
Okay, sir. So is there any negative marking or anything like that into the examinations or something?
No,
No.
no. And
Okay.
that's what we advise the students. Even if you don't have a clue what is the answer, put something. You might get 1 out of 4 correct. So there's no negative
Sure.
answering. You have to attempt. They have something called pre-test questions. These are questions that they're not scored. They put them in the exam. They want to see the student response.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
based on the response, they include them in future exams.
Later exams.
Those later on, but these are not scored, but you don't know which ones. So the other advice we tell the students is that if you walk into the exam and you find 5 multiple choice questions, you've never heard about them, you've never seen them, you've never studied them, don't panic. You are like everyone around the world. These are pre-test questions. Try to attempt, make logic. You can eliminate probably 2 out of the 4. So you have the chances of hitting it 50%. So again, if you see a question, you've never heard about the topic before, don't panic.
And what's the time per question? Since we are talking, how many questions typically are there? Everything is MCQ, is what I understand, right?
And task-based simulation. So you have 3 test lists and 2 task-based simulation, or 3.
Okay.
It varies from one part to another part. Some of the parts, they have 50 multiple choice questions. Some of the parts have 70. So they've reallocated the number of multiple choice versus the task-based simulation, but it's all computer-based grading. So I would say it depends. Some questions, some multiple choice question might require 1 minute. Some might require 2 to 3 minutes if there's a lot of calculation. And you learn it throughout the course. What's important is not to be stubborn and
get stuck on something.
spend 10 minutes stuck, because you'll be losing marks from other questions.
And they can go back and forth in the paper, or does it go linearly? Once they have attempted something, they can't.
They can go back and forth within the same testlet. So let's say you have 30 multiple choice questions within the same section. They can go back and forth.
Okay.
But once they close that section, they cannot go back to it. This is why we advise students, don't skip questions, continue doing them, because you might forget to go back to them when you have 50 or 60. But within the same section, they can go back and forth. Once they submit it, they cannot go back and forth anymore.
Thanks.
That was a really insider of the examination pattern what is followed, sir. Thank you so much for making all of us aware of that. Also, sir, if anyone can...
Akshay, yes, I think we should now let the attendees ask any questions they have live.
I
open
think
it up because we've already passed the hour. We had planned for an hour, right? And
yes, sir.
I was just thinking, unless there is any particular one from your counseling, etc.,
yes,
that you want the panel to talk about, let's do
yes,
a last one, perhaps.
So we have some questions coming up from Bhanu Prakash. It is, what is the maximum hour of examination? What is the time limit of examination being conducted for each paper, sir?
4 hours per part. So total examination is 16 hours. 4 hours per paper.
Okay, 4 hours per paper. So hope, Bhanu, your answer is clear here. And then one more is it required any professional experience to apply for these examinations?
It depends on the state board. Most of them, they don't require the experience. they require the educational background.
Right.
Experience comes after passing the exam to get the license.
So,
Unlike the CA, where you have to have the experience. So
experience, yeah,
we
article
spoke at the
selection.
beginning, the difference, the mindset between the British and the American is different. The British, by the time you finish from the exam, you can start the professional qualification without a university degree. That's why it's longer, it takes longer. And by the time you finish and you pass, you already gone through the experience, you're licensed. The Americans say, no, we're going to give you the minimum what you need to start your career. Once you pass those minimum, we'll test your experience later. The approach is different. And many of the topics that you learn under the ACCA would have been covered at the university level. So the approach to the profession is different.
Right. Thank you, sir. So there is one more person who is asking a very deep question. That is, what is the cost of examinations in India for this US CPA? What would be the overall cost, or is it like they have to pay everything at a shot or into the bracket? What?
I think it's $600 including the international fee. I mean, I don't know if they increased here and there $5-10 here
That's
and there,
the
but
range.
that's the range. I would say $600 per section times four, $2,400 is what you need for exams if you are planning on taking in India in Bangalore. If you are in US, if you take this exam, it will cost you $200 per section.
Okay.
Oh, it's a significant difference.
Different.
So for the international
Yes.
students,
Because you have $400 of international fee because they let us take the exam in India. There is an extra fee.
okay.
Earlier, we never had this Prometric Center in Bangalore. I think after
Right, sir.
pandemic, we got it.
Yes, sir. It's in
So
Whitefield.
there
Correct.
is a fee
Currently.
always. I
Yes,
know
sir.
so many people, my own colleagues who before pandemic days who used to go Dubai and take. I trust me, that is more than $400. So
Yeah, I'm sure the travel and all that would
Yeah,
hotels
add
and
up
travel.
to more
everything.
than that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
The exam is not, it's international, but not in every country, selected countries.
yeah.
So it started off in specific countries in the Middle East and in Japan. Now they expanded into India, but it's not offered everywhere around the world. And the question mark was, if we look at the profile of international candidates, big chunk is from Indian background. And when we asked the AICPA, why not India first? Why it came in the second or third year when we went international? Talking about the cost, their concern was that the demand would be so huge that they cannot be manage the demand to sit for the exam, and they want to make sure the compliance is there. So they had to learn from other markets because they know that the number of exam sitters in India, exam centers, is much higher than any other part of the world. That was their feedback.
Interesting.
So back then you had to travel to Dubai or go to Jordan, or now you can sit at your home country in India.
Yes, sir. So overall, I believe there are 7 Prometric centers in India currently, on which Bangalore also has one that is in Whitefield currently.
Yeah.
So coming to the closer to the discussion, I would like to add few things from ISME's end. Since ISME is providing the PGDM as well as PGPM in US CPA, PGDM is those who doesn't have a master degree as well as the credit requirement. So we have embedded our PGDM courses with US CPA that will be conducted only on weekends, that's Saturday and Sunday, Saturday evening and Sunday morning. And there are limited subjects which will be teaching so that we can complete both of the PGDM as well as US CPA courses within 2 years frame of time. But those who already have the credit scores as well as those who have done their masters, they can go only for PGPM. That is just a preparatory for the US CPA, for which we uses Becker's module as well as now another question related to the same is any placement opportunities after PGDM in international according? Yes, definitely we provide the placement assistance from ISME once you are done with your PGDM plus US CPA or just a US CPA preparatory. Once you have cleared the examination, we provide the placement assistant. Many of our internal students also got placed in many of the institutions from where we have the panel members here. And yes, we provide the placement assistance from our end.
And one more point from my end.
Sir, sir.
Even the students are with us as interns. We
Yes, sir.
have
We
on an every year dozen students at least who are part of the PGDM.
Okay.
While they are doing this program, they come and join GT as interns. By the time they're done, they have a full-time offer also on hand.
yes, sir.
Great. So
And
that's another path in which they could get
yes,
their
sir.
placement.
And we focus on the paid internship provided. That's
Yeah.
more important for us also. That whosoever is going for the internship, they should get something as a remuneration for their effort. So as a reward. So we focus on that paid internship. And those who so any more question, anybody from the attendees, if you have, kindly proceed
Do
ahead.
you want to
We have,
open their, can they speak directly? Can you open up the,
they
so
can
that it'd be nice to hear them actually, what they felt
if
about the seminar. And
somebody has to raise hand for that so that I can allow them to talk.
so can,
So
and
is
dear
anybody there who
attendees,
would
if
like to?
anybody has any questions, we'd like to hear from you directly. Please raise your hand and we can allow, unmute your microphone so that you can speak. Anyone?
I can't find any. So thank you so much, everyone, for giving the real insight of the USCPA journey. The roadmap is completely covered here, where we have spoken about how to become a CPA, what is the eligibility criteria, what all could come into picture during the preparation, post preparation, how to get into the examination, what all the parameters of examination, steps of getting enrolled for the examination, and post exam, what all are the career opportunities what we have. So I believe we should come to the end of the discussion here. And I must thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Fadi, for giving us the complete insight of the Beckers as well as Morgan's support to all the CPA aspirants. Thank you so much, Mr. Prasad, for giving your experience when you and how to become a CPA licensed holder and what all opportunities they can have also in Grant Thornton. And thank you so much, Mr. Sumit, for giving us the complete picture of what all subjects will be covered and what all could be the topics within the subjects and modules would be there. Thank you so much, Mr. Prasad Balirao, for giving us the clear picture of the mindset of Indian student, what all things they should be thinking as well as doing during the preparation of the USCPA courses, and how we can make it more easy to understand and crack the examination. And thank you so much, Dr. Punerjit, for being a great moderator here and keeping us completely intact within the topic itself, sir. So it was
Thank you.
lovely meeting you. It
Thanks,
was lovely.
everybody. And
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, sir.
from my side, we
Thank
would
you so much,
really
sir.
appreciate your time and
Thank you.
efforts to make this. And hopefully, we'll have more interested participants and take this
Sure,
forward.
sir. Sure,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
So,
Thank you.
Have a great day.
thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Good luck,
Bye-bye.
You
guys.
too. Bye,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.